Hey, what's going on everybody? Back at you again with another video before we get to that first preseason game. We're just a couple short days away from our first kickoff of the preseason. So I just want to come at you with a few names to keep on the lookout for. By the time we get to that second, the third, fourth quarter, there's going to be so many guys out there that we just don't know who they are. They probably won't make the roster, but I want to hit you with a couple of names to keep on the lookout for. People who have a legitimate shot to make this roster, and let's see if they can make plays. Us Lions fans were notorious for latching on to one player during the preseason and during training camp, usually that training camp darling. Sometimes they make the team, sometimes they don't, but we always have that one fan favorite, so I want to get you with a couple names right now. The first name on the list is going to be Dylan Drummond. He's an undrafted free agent out of Eastern Michigan University, someone who just signed with our team to come in during training camp, be a training camp body. But he's making waves. He's stepped up, he's making catches, catching touchdowns, building that rapport with the offense. And it's kind of a training camp surprise, if you ask me. I had my eyes out on Antoine Green out of University of North Carolina, our 7th round draft pick. He's kind of fallen back, and Dylan Drummond's been the one that's been stepping up, making plays. We've had a few people miss practice. Marvin Jones took a few days to be acclimated and come up to speed and start joining in training camp. Jamison Williams has taken some time away from training camp, missed a couple days here and there, and Dylan Drummond has taken advantage of those reps. So he's one I want to keep my eyes out for on that first preseason game. See how he does at NFL speeds. Can he perform at that level? Does he have the skills and the attributes to catch a ball in space, get yards after a catch? So he's one that I'm going to keep my eye out on for sure. There's two guys on the defensive line that we're going to have to keep our eyes out on. One is Broderick Martin. The other one is Levi Onwuzurike. Onwuzurike is a round 2 draft pick from 2 years back, but he dealt with a pretty nasty back injury. So I'm really kind of excited to see him get back in there, get comfortable, get some game reps, and can he bounce back from that back injury? So he's one that I'm hoping and praying that he finally gets that game speed and gets comfortable within the scheme and getting inside the line and taking those hits. And then big Broderick Martin, I touched on him in the last video, 6'5", 350 pounds, just a massive human being. Game reps are going to be super important for him as well. And I just want to see this mountain of a dude hit the field. Like when you have a guy that big and take up that much space and how much power he has, I just want to see him wreck the game. I want to see him collapse that A-gap, stop the run on the inside, and just be a pure disruptor. If he can do that, man, I'm super pumped for his season as a rookie because he's going to come in and just make waves right away. So if he can have a big impact, maybe during that first quarter or second quarter when he comes in, man, it's going to be a home run by Brad Holmes. In the secondary, we have another undrafted free agent who's been making waves, Starling Thomas V. He's been coming in. He's kind of repping with the second team now, so he's been working his way up. We have some top tier talent in our secondary, but we don't have a whole lot of depth. So if he can come in and be that CB3, CB4, and make an impact right away, that's going to be huge. Inevitably, we have injuries, people go down. It's the NFL. It's what you deal with. So if he can come in, make an impact, show his weight, man, that's going to be huge for us with building that back end of the roster and showing that depth. So Sterling Thomas, he already has a couple picks, a couple bass breakups throughout training camp, and someone who's super feisty. He has that fire in him. He's a pure dog, someone that can step in, maybe as a reserve role, and make an impact if he's called upon in game situations. Another name that I'm super pumped about in that secondary is going to be Brian Branch. He's working his way up to the starters and actually kind of replacing Tracy Walker, if you can believe it. So I don't know how many game reps he's going to get. He's the rookie out of Alabama that we took in the second round. He kind of fell. We could have picked him up with our 18th pick, and I would have been super ecstatic, but he fell to us at 45. Pure fire, pure dog. He's a hard hitter. He started as a true freshman at Alabama, so he has a tremendous amount of talent. I'm really excited to see him on the field. I'm hoping and praying that he gets some game reps, but I'm not counting on it just because he's someone where they want to keep the cat in the bag and keep the secret on him until we get to that opener against Kansas City, and that way we can surprise the Chiefs with this great rookie safety that we have picked up. I think he's going to play a lot of nickelback, so I'm going to keep my eye out on that if he comes into this preseason game. Is he lining up at safety? Is he coming down to the nickel? Is he coming into the box at all and playing the line? I don't know what we got scheming up there, but that's something I'm definitely keeping an eye out on for. The big news of the week is our new backup quarterback. Got Teddy Two Gloves, Teddy Bridgewater just signed yesterday to this roster. I don't think he'll play on Friday. I think that's just a little bit too soon to ramp him up. But I would expect him maybe to take some snaps and reps in that second preseason game. So that backup quarterback is going to be something of interest to watch. I think they roll out with Nate Sudfeld to start with, and then they might throw in Adrian Martinez in there for like maybe quarter 3, quarter 4. I'm not too thrilled about Adrian Martinez. I don't think there's a whole lot there. But Sudfeld, I think he's fighting for that quarterback 3 spot. If they do keep 3 quarterbacks, it is going to be Sudfeld. Let's remember that the NFL did change the rules this past year where a team can have that emergency quarterback. And I don't believe it will count against the 53-man roster. So they want to make sure that they have a pretty solid, viable backup. And Sudfeld is that dude. I don't think he's the greatest. I don't think he has, a tremendous amount of talent. He was on the San Francisco roster last year, but actually lost that QB3 job to Brock Purdy. So, if Mr. Irrelevant is beating you on the roster, I think you're kind of limited and capped on what you can bring to a team. But he's really good in the locker room, really good in the meeting rooms for Jared Goff, really good clipboard guy. But if he gets called upon in game time, I don't know if I have too much confidence. So kudos to Dan Campbell, kudos to Brad Holmes for signing Teddy Bridgewater. I think it says that this team is all in on this year. That way, if Jared Goff does go down, if he misses some games, you have a quality backup. I would argue maybe top 3, top 2 backup in the league right now. In terms of the amount of game reps that Teddy Bridgewater has had, what he has in his repertoire, he's not going to beat you deep. He's not going to beat you with the big arm, but he's efficient, right? He's going to get in there. He's going to run the game plan. He's not going to win it. I can tell you that much. We've seen that from him. I don't think he has the capability to go over the top, but he can keep things stable if he's called upon. It'd be terrible of me to not touch on this, but the Lions had a great day at training camp today against the New York Giants. From all indications, from everything we heard, especially from the New York beat writers, the Lions kicked the Giants' ass today. They were far and away the better team. It is training camp. The Giants are coming into a different, environment, a different team that they haven't seen so far. So let's take that with a grain of salt. If we remember last year, we went down to Indianapolis and we got our asses kicked that first day. So I do expect the Giants to bounce back tomorrow. But man, some of the stuff that we were seeing was super promising, and it's really nice to see. Specifically, Jahmyr Gibbs burning a linebacker out of the backfield on a swing route, and he put on the burners and he was gone. So, and that was against a starter, Brian Okereke. I'm not quite, sure on how to pronounce his last name, but he's their starting linebacker that they paid quite a few $1 million for. If he's burning a guy like that out of the backfield, if you play fantasy, pick up Gibbs. I think he's going to be a league winner this year with the amount of balls he's going to catch and the amount of touches he's going to get. He's going to feast. With his athleticism, his ability to catch the ball, his speed, he's going to be a dynamic player. It's not an accident that we took him 12 overall, and he's showing that so far in training camp. So that was super promising to see. I think that just gives, a little bit more juice in the veins, a little bit more hype to the team, but it's something that's awesome to see. So everything out of training camp today against the Giants was fantastic. Jared Goff went 8 for 8 and 7-on-7s. You're playing against air, essentially, so you should be high accuracy, but that's super encouraging to see. So I love what I see. Hopefully we get some more good updates tomorrow when the Giants go against the Lions again on day 2. And then, of course, we have that first preseason game on Friday. Kickoff is at 8 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Mountain Time. Super pumped, super excited, and we'll do a review after and follow up. Cheers.